Good luck, everyone.
We got 2 Superman and then 1 Eric. Just based on our shirts.
Yeah, when I walked up, I was like, you guys doing like a team thing? Yeah.
Hello and welcome to week 4 of Team Draft LA Aetherdrift season. Playing against Untapped Potential. And our rare is the Guardian Sunmare. Sorry, I'm still having a hard time reading that font and recognizing that art. Took me a second when I opened this pack to realize what that was, but after I did, I was pretty happy. It's a very strong rare, and one of the few reasons to start out in white, I think. Notable, there's also a Thunderhead Gunner in here. Endrider Spikes Bitter. But yeah, Sunmare is certainly a powerful rare, and I've been, looking for an excuse to start out in white, sort of with the knowledge that a lot of other people will be hesitant to get into white for its commons and uncommons. So, but here in pick 2, before we can get into all that, we have probably the most difficult pick of the whole draft, I would say. We've got 2 good green cards with the mascot and the Ketrodon, 2 good black cards with the Pact Altair and the Back on Track. The Nesting Bot is a, just fine white card, but still not nearly as powerful as any of these other 4, I would say. And, if you've watched my drafts so far this season, you know that I've been green, I believe, every week up until now. So it's certainly something that it's a color that I'm happy to draft, a place I'm happy to be. And the other 2 are the black cards are more synergy pieces, whereas these green cards are just strong cards on their own. So it comes down to one of those. I decided to go with the cheaper card with the mascot. It's also, can be an annoying one to play against. I mean, they both can be, but mascot can come down on 1 and go unanswered for a while and just take over a game. So I decided to go with that one. It's also, a couple weeks ago I drafted the green-white mounts deck, and my first pick certainly lends itself to that as well. Anyway, having said all that, pick 3 we see a Ride's End, which is what I wish I wish this had been in my second pack. There's also a Samut Driving Force, which is strong, but not something that I want to take super highly. It's not worth warping your draft around or planning for kind of what might be a difficult splash, like if you end up in Boros, for example. Whereas Ride's End just asks very little of you, apart from putting planes in your deck, which I'm already happy to do with the Sunmare. Pick 4, Canyon Vaulter, is also a reasonable follow-up to the Sunmare. Not my favorite card in the world. 2 mana 3/1 with some upside. It's certainly nothing to write home about, but there's also just not much to speak of in this pack. There's Clamorous Ironclad, the Cycling Red vehicle, which is just fine. Night Market, which I'm sure I'd be happy to play. A Thornwood Falls, but I think it's a little too early for that. And so I'm just going to stick with the white plan here and see how open it remains. Seeing the 2 green cards in pack 2 also leaves the thought in the back of my mind that there could be a hook and cut coming. So I'm certainly not attached to the mascot by any means. And luckily there's just another easy pick here, a Slam Dunk, super powerful white card with the Detention Chariot. So let's just get deeper into that lane. There's a Boom Scholar in this one, which is quite strong. Looking back on this draft, it's not totally unreasonable to think that I could have ended up in Gruul or Naya. But at the time, it seemed fine to just stay on the white course, no pun intended, and take collision course. And I'm pretty interested in seeing this Endrider Spike Spitter wheel. Pack 1, pick 7. I think it's just by far the strongest card in this pack. And something that I am happy to sort of build towards. You know, I think it goes well in a Sunmare deck that's looking to be on board and proactive, get the speed up and all that. Pick 8. We see a couple Boros 2-drops here with the Interface Ace and the Prowcatcher Specialist. At this point, you know, I'm just sticking with my deepest color, white, and sort of building around the Sunmare further. Interface Ace cruise the Sunmare all by itself, which is nice. Pick 9. Not a whole lot to speak of here, so I'm just going to take the red card and continue to see if red is open. And indeed, it certainly appears to be, as this Clamorous Ironclad makes it all the way back around. The white cards here are not cards that I've ever put in decks before, so they don't really catch my eye here as white cards that I need to pick up right now. Whereas the Clamorous Ironclad has a lot of upside in some sort of cycling or discard focused deck. Pick 11, Endrider Catalyzer seems just fine, and I'm really sort of cementing myself in Boros here at this point. You can see pulling these red cards forward, District Mascot's getting out of here, and Pedal to the Metal is a totally reasonable 12th pick. Racer's Scoreboard is not, though. But even a Light Shield Parry, which does, in fact, make it into the deck as my last pick of the pack, you know, can't complain about that. And sure enough, I've just got, you know, the makings of a pretty solid Boros deck, and already after pack 1, I feel like I've got a good spread of curve, creatures, removal, and game-winning threats. So feeling pretty strong about that plan, which probably leads to an incorrect decision here. The Cloudspire Captain certainly goes better in a Boros deck. And with what I have so far, I'm not very interested in splashing. But it was still probably correct to take the Veteran Beast Rider here and stay a little bit more open to the idea of being Selesnya, maybe just getting hooked up in with some green in pack 2, considering that I saw very little of it in pack 1. Seems like there's a decent chance of it. Pick 2, we see a Broadcast Rambler, Thunderhead Gunner, and Push the Limit, which I am certainly got my eye on. Obviously, I don't feel that I can take it in this position. The Thunderhead Gunner seems to be the obvious pick here. But in my mind, I'm thinking I already have, you know, Detention Chariot and the Clamorous Ironclad, so maybe there's aspirations of some kind of Push the Limit deck, and there's a good chance that it will come back around to me if it's meant to be. With that in mind, I think I go with the Quick Welder here, thinking that I will be looking to put more vehicles in the deck if that Push the Limit comes back, and so Quick Welder would be a fine inclusion in that case. If I were still on the Silesian mounts plan, the Venom Cyclogak would be something that would be fine picking up. Not super excited about, though. A couple of solid signpost uncommons here with the Golgari Artifact and the Dune Mover. Pick 4, I'm just fine picking up a Crash and Burn here over Adrenaline Jockey, which is nothing too special, and is it Leonin Surveyor, I think, which is also nothing too crazy and something that also has potential to wheel. Pick 5, see a Voyage Home as the clear strongest individual card in the pack. But again, I am, I have basically 0 ways to splash at this point, and don't know that I would want to, even if I did. So this night market pickup is more just to walk in place here a little bit, wait for some more signals to come through. Always happy to play the first copy of that in just about any deck. Here we see a Pace Setter Paragon, which is solid. Another Leonin Surveyor, Lotus Guard Disciple. Both of those would be fine inclusions in the deck. A couple of strong black cards there with the Gastel Raider and I think the Hellish Sideswipe, both in there. Not reason enough to jump into that by any means. But seeing as this is the second Leonin Surveyor, I think there's just a very good chance that at least one of them will come back to me. So I'm happy to ship that along. And pick 7, nothing super exciting to report. Certainly the black seems to be coming through. And so I consider taking a Maximum Overdrive just because that one's going to be a tough one for my team to play against in general, but decide that I don't really have the proof that Steve to my right is in black. And pick 8, I'm very sad to report that the Push the Limit did not wheel, but having said that, Broadcast Rambler is probably the better pick for me anyway, as it turns out, so it worked out. And yeah, as we'll see as the pack 2 winds down here, a lot of the things that I just assumed would wheel did not. Certainly getting some mixed signals here in this draft, but I still think I'm just in a really strong spot here. I think the kickoff celebrations here, just because I am still interested in playing and getting this Spike Spitter online, and I'm a little low on ways to actually start my engines early. Oh, never mind, I go with the Dune Drifter. Just as the strongest card in the pack and could maybe be splashed if I need to get a little more grindy. I don't know. Probably should have just taken kickoff celebrations there. Just take the jockey here. I'm still not a believer in the Alacrian Armory, even though I lost to it last week. And pick 11. Obviously, there was just no way that I was going to be able to hate draft all the Maximum Overdrives, so I'm glad I didn't end up doing that. Go ahead and pick up a Rocky Roads here. Seems just fine. Likewise, I don't think that I can hate the Gear Seeker Serpents. Whoever wants to run one will probably get one, so just take the cheaper card and end up with a Maximum Overdrive anyway. So yeah, neither of the Leonin Surveyors came back. I think there was a Prowcatcher Specialist that didn't come back. So definitely hurting, definitely feeling the pain on my creature curve a little bit. So going into pack 3, you're going to see me prioritize 2-drops over just about everything else. But not going to take it any 2-drop over Perilous Snare here. I thought it was really funny that I opened this up in pack 3 because Roger on the Stonecutters had the Sunmare Perilous Snare combo in his deck when we played against them, and now I've got it in mine, and I'm super excited about it. Sunmare tutors it up, removes their best blocker, starts putting counters on things, lets your Sunmare get in for another hit the next turn. It's just living the dream. I'm certainly not the biggest fan of the Gastel Thrill Roller, but there's really, I did say I was prioritizing 2-drops. Tyrox is not a 2-drop particularly worth prioritizing. So I do go ahead and take the Thrill Roller here.
Is this me?
Pick 3, we see Boost Buggy, Haunted Hellride as some strong uncommon signposts, but again, I only have eyes for 2-drops at this point, so I'm just gonna send everything right along there. Another Rocky Roads, a Lightning Strike, and a Ride's End would both certainly be quite welcome in this deck. Ooh, another Pact Altair and a Risen Necro Regent in pack 3, pick 4. So now I'm just terrified that that Caesar to my left is in black and just getting seriously hooked up in pack 3. But I also just saw so much black, like last pick Maximum Overdrive in pack 2. So and then the choice between Rides In and Lightning Strike is more of just one of diversification a little bit. Also, I think Boros wanting to be a little more proactive probably wants the first copy of Lightning Strike over the second copy of Ride's End. And here I'm happy to pick up a Dracosaur Auxiliary. I think it's another quite strong curve topper, and my top end is just all locked up at this point. And once again, just not the ideal 2-drops by any means, but there's a Burner Rocket and a Spot Cycle Scouter that I have to decide between now. And once again, Burner Rocket costs 2 mana, but it's not actually a 2 mana play, so I'm going to go with the Scouter. Again, I'm just feeling like my deck is strong enough now that I just want to hit the board by turn 2 as consistently as possible. And so it really doesn't even matter. Almost doesn't even matter what 2-drops I'm actually picking up here. Just really want to make sure that I have the proper number of 2-mana plays. We do see the Tyrox come back around. Synergist is certainly the stronger card, but I didn't end up in a very artifact-heavy build here. And so Tyrox will join my cadre of mediocre Boros 2-drops here. Again, though, I think the deck looks very strong. It does have a good curve now, and it's got a couple of premium tricks and plenty of premium removal. Lots of ways to spend mana flexibly. And again, both of those signposts uncommons came back, and there's just no way that I could figure out which one would be the correct hate pick, so just decided to ship them both and take another 2-drop. Sarcophagus, again, nothing to write home about, but will likely make its way into my deck just because it does start my engines. And getting the spike spinner online as early and consistently as possible seems like the plan. Very surprised to see this Necro Regent on the wheel here. Just going to go ahead and take it now, just to make sure that Caesar doesn't get to use it. Yeah, black was certainly just wide open in both directions as it turned out. I could certainly see, I could have easily ended up in a Rakdos deck here if I hadn't opened 2 fantastic white rares. But so it goes. A little sad that I didn't get any of it didn't seem like any of the Boros uncommons were opened at the table. Here's the deck. I actually ended up running 18 lands here just to make sure that I could hit 5 and 6 drops as consistently as possible. This is Mike's really solid looking Golgari recursion deck. And Alex has a blue-white Mendicant Core Artifacts grindy deck. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think.
It's like every blue card that I saw came back in pack 1, I think.